The scene opens with Deadpool standing over a familiar, solemn place, the very spot where Logan was buried. Armed with nothing but hope and a shovel, of course, Deadpool starts digging at Logan's grave. Maybe, just maybe, Logan isn't entirely dead. But when Deadpool finally reaches the bottom, he's met with a harsh reality. Logan's skeleton. Yup, he's really dead. Slightly bummed but not ready to give up, Deadpool sits beside the skeleton, casually chatting with his old pal about how much he needs him for some upcoming shenanigans. Suddenly, multiple portals burst open around him, and agents from the TVA swarm in. The goal? Capture Deadpool. But come on, it's Deadpool. He goes berserk, fighting off the agents with his trademark brutal style, even ripping Logan's bones from his skeleton to use as weapons. Because why not? That's just how Deadpool rolls. Flashback time. Before we dive deeper, let's rewind a bit. Earlier, Deadpool got his hands on Cable's time travel device. Naturally, he couldn't resist the urge to jump across dimensions. It all started on March 14, 2018, when he popped into Earth 616, aka the MCU. There, he found Happy Hogan and immediately pitched himself as the next great Avenger. I've got the skills, the looks, and the charisma. Come on, sign me up, he insisted. But Happy, always the responsible one, explained that being an Avenger is more about helping people than just having cool powers. Bummed but not totally defeated, Deadpool returned to his universe and resumed his chaotic life. Fast forward to Deadpool's birthday party. All seems well, except for some mysterious men discreetly snapping pictures of him outside. But hey, it's Deadpool. He's used to weird stalkers. He brushes it off and heads inside to join the party. Just as Deadpool is about to cut his birthday cake, bam, TVA agents storm in through a portal, grab him, and yank him into their world. Guess no one's getting any cake. At the TVA headquarters, Deadpool is greeted by Paradox, a high-ranking TVA officer. Their interaction feels oddly familiar, much like Loki's introduction to Mobius. Paradox explains that the TVA monitors all sacred timelines, and Deadpool's wild time-traveling stunts have caused a bit of a mess. Using Cable's device to hop through timelines? Yeah, not cool in TVA's book. But instead of just wiping him out, Paradox has a proposition. Help save the sacred timelines by joining the Avengers. On multiple screens in the background, Deadpool sees several possible futures, including a tearful Thor cradling an injured Deadpool. Intrigued, he presses for more info, but Paradox urges him to focus on the present task. The TVA needs him to live in Earth 616, the sacred timeline, as a hero. Hearing this, Deadpool lights up. This is his shot at being an Avenger. He even asks for a shiny new suit, which of course they provide, along with 2 adamantium swords. Things are looking up for our favorite mercenary. But there's a catch. The universe is collapsing before Deadpool can fully embrace his new role. Paradox drops a bombshell. His home universe, Earth 5, is collapsing, and it's all tied to Logan. Paradox explains that in each universe, there's an anchor, a key figure whose presence keeps the universe stable. For Earth 5, that anchor was Logan. Since his death in 2017, the universe has been slowly deteriorating. Within 72 hours, it'll be gone for good. Deadpool, furious, demands that the TVA do something to stop the collapse. But Paradox, ever the nihilist, doesn't care. He even gleefully shows off a device called the Time Ripper, which can destroy an entire universe in an instant. He's ready to hit the kill switch on Earth 5, viewing it as nothing more than a dead tree that needs uprooting. Given 2 options, return to his universe for 72 hours to say his goodbyes or move on to live the Avenger life in Earth 616. Deadpool is torn. But, in true Deadpool fashion, he doesn't play by the rules. Deadpool's quest for Wolverine determined to save his universe. Deadpool decks Paradox and snatches the TVA's portal-creating device. With Logan dead, the only solution is to find another Wolverine from the multiverse to stabilize his collapsing universe. Deadpool's multiverse-hopping journey begins. In one universe, he finds a tiny Wolverine. In another, he encounters a one-armed Wolverine. And in yet another, he meets a Wolverine who's blind in one eye. These Wolverines are far from helpful. They beat him up and chase him away. But Deadpool doesn't give up. Eventually, he stumbles upon a Wolverine sitting at a bar, drowning his sorrows. Deadpool, trying to be persuasive, asks this Wolverine to come with him. When the reluctant Wolverine refuses, Deadpool pulls out a gun, threatening to drag him along. Wolverine, unimpressed, chugs an entire bottle of beer and passes out. Deadpool, ever resourceful, drags the unconscious Wolverine through a TVA portal back to the headquarters. Back at the TVA, Deadpool proudly presents the Wolverine to Paradox, but the TVA officer is not impressed. This Wolverine, it turns out, is the worst possible choice. He's responsible for the deaths of hundreds of people in his universe. Paradox is fed up. He had given Deadpool a chance to live in the MCU, but instead, Deadpool killed TVA agents and broke the rules. As punishment, Paradox sends both Deadpool and Wolverine to the Void. the desolate wasteland where Loki ended up. Once there, Wolverine wakes up, grabs Deadpool by the collar, and demands to know why they're in this mess. Cue an epic fight between Deadpool and Wolverine, as the two iconic anti-heroes clash in the most chaotic way possible. In the midst of their intense standoff, Wolverine sinks his claws into Deadpool's chest, trying to put an end to their squabble. But Deadpool, ever the chatterbox, pleads for a calm conversation. Wolverine, however, isn't in the mood for diplomacy and lashes out again. Deadpool, dodging the blows, desperately explains that he needs Wolverine's help, but Wolverine is unmoved and snaps back, "I don't care." Just as Wolverine is about to land a blow on Deadpool's face, Deadpool yells for him to stop. He drops a bombshell. The TVA holds the key to undoing the chaos that's unraveling their universe, and his world is on the verge of collapse. Deadpool proposes they team up to save everything before it's too late. Wolverine hesitates, weighing the offer, and reluctantly agrees to join forces. Before they can catch their breath, a mysterious man nearby warns them about a powerful witch named Cassandra Nova, whose army is closing in. The man, stepping out of the shadows, offers to help. Deadpool thinks it is Captain America, but it was the Human Torch from Fantastic Four. Deadpool and Wolverine realizes they've stumbled into a time-bending mess. Just as Cassandra Nova's army swarms the area, Human Torch takes flight and hurls fireballs at them. Unfortunately, his flames barely scorch the surface, and he crashes to the ground in a spectacular flop. Meanwhile, Wolverine is challenged by one of Nova's soldiers. Deadpool, ever the opportunist, pulls the swords lodged in Wolverine's body and gives a pep talk to him. Wolverine, with one swift move, dispatches the enemy. Deadpool gleefully hoists the man's decapitated head as a grotesque trophy, just in time for the three of them to be caught by a magnetic device. They're bound and taken prisoner along with Human Torch. As they're being transported, Human Torch spills some grim news about Cassandra Nova's army, warning them about a colossal, unbeatable monster named Alioth. Wolverine, however, remains determined to break free and return to the TVA. Human Torch, amused by his optimism, explains that Cassandra controls everything in this world, and if they don't obey, they'll be fed to lions. Their destination? Cassandra Nova's eerie headquarters, located inside the enormous body of a giant Ant-Man. As they arrive, they're greeted by an army of mutants, including a Juggernaut variant, all under Cassandra's control. She approaches with a sinister smile and reveals her chilling backstory. She is the twin sister of Professor Charles Xavier. Not only that, but Cassandra had once tried to strangle Charles with their shared umbilical cord while still in the womb. Naturally, Deadpool can't resist taunting her, and told her that Human Torch was calling her a bald, psychotic witch and many more things, throwing in a few more insults for good measure. Cassandra, enraged by Deadpool's mockery, peels the skin off Human Torch in a single, horrifying motion. As the monstrous Alioth lumbers toward them, Cassandra decides to make Wolverine and Deadpool her next slaves. Wolverine, unwilling to bow down, launches a vicious attack, but Cassandra stops him effortlessly with a flick of her finger. Deadpool, sensing that they're in way over their heads, tries to negotiate, but Cassandra digs her fingers into his face, reading all his memories like a horror novel. Just when all hope seems lost, Wolverine strikes from behind, sinking his claws into Cassandra, while Deadpool joins in, stabbing her with his own knife. But Cassandra only laughs, completely unscathed. She exits the scene as Alioth inches closer, ready to devour them. Amid the chaos, Wolverine and Deadpool spot a machine and, in typical Deadpool fashion, they manage to activate it and make a wild escape. They land in a far-off place, away from immediate danger, only to be greeted by a small dog running toward them. But this isn't just any dog, it's Dogpool, a canine version of Deadpool. Following closely behind is another version of Deadpool, this one cheerfully introducing himself as Nicepool. He proudly announces that he's a feminist and offers them his car to help them escape the looming threat of Cassandra Nova's army. Wolverine, eager to get away, accepts Nicepool's offer, and they hit the road. Inside the car, Deadpool can't help but poke fun at Wolverine's classic yellow suit, which quickly annoys Wolverine. Deadpool, in typical fashion, goes on to ask Wolverine what he'd do if the TVA fixed his universe. Wolverine, catching the gif, grows suspicious and stabs Deadpool in the legs, furious that Deadpool isn't entirely sure the TVA can fix things. Deadpool, trying to defend himself, explains that he's taking an educated wish to save his world, and to him, saving even 9 people is worth the gamble. Wolverine, feeling betrayed, snaps, calling Deadpool the dumbest, most immature person he's ever met in his 200 years of life. He mocks Deadpool's failed relationship and accuses him of being out of his depth when it comes to saving the universe. Hurt by Wolverine's words, Deadpool lashes out, and the two engage in a vicious brawl, leaving the car a blood-splattered wreck. They fight for hours until both of them collapse from exhaustion. At this point, X-23 shows up, yep, the same X-23 from the Logan movie, and drags them into the car, driving them to safety. When Deadpool and Wolverine regain consciousness, they find themselves in a house filled with familiar faces: Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23. They all reveal that Cassandra Nova had banished them to this world, and now they're plotting to take her down once and for all. With the team assembled, they make their way back to confront Cassandra Nova. As they arrive, they're greeted by an army of enslaved mutants, including the Juggernaut variant. A brutal battle erupts. Elektra, Gambit, Blade, and X-23 handle the mutants on the ground, while Deadpool and Wolverine charge directly at Cassandra. But she's prepared. With her psychic powers, Cassandra hurls Deadpool into the air, throwing their plan into disarray. They quickly realize Cassandra's psychic powers can only be neutralized by a special helmet, similar to Magneto's. But there's one problem. Cassandra had already destroyed Magneto and his helmet, leaving them with a near-impossible task ahead. Deadpool suggests using Juggernaut's indestructible helmet. Meanwhile, the powerful Cassandra Nova is busy overpowering Wolverine. She sticks her finger inside his head, unleashing her telepathic abilities to view all his memories. She witnesses how Wolverine had failed his fellow X-Men. They had desperately called for his help, but he was too late. By the time Wolverine returned, he found them dead. Overcome with anger and guilt, he spiraled into a rage-fueled rampage, killing not only the bad guys but accidentally taking down innocent people too. As this emotional battle rages, X-23 gets the upper hand on Juggernaut, slicing off his legs and tossing his helmet over to Deadpool. Deadpool, ever the quick thinker, or reckless, depending on your view, slams the helmet onto Cassandra Nova's head, instantly neutralizing her powers. Just as they're about to finish her off, one of Cassandra's brainwashed minions takes aim and shoots her, claiming he's been waiting for revenge. Despite the chaos, Wolverine convinces Deadpool to remove the helmet, trusting Cassandra not to harm them. When Deadpool obliges, Cassandra softens at Wolverine's words. Wolverine mentions Charles Xavier, Cassandra's brother, and says that if Charles had known she was alive, he would have done anything to bring her back. But Cassandra, now a changed woman, chooses to remain in her universe, saying it's her home. To help them, she hands them a sling ring belonging to Doctor Strange, opens a portal, and urges them to get out quickly. Deadpool and Wolverine waste no time and step through the portal, returning to their universe. But as they leave, Cassandra confronts the shooter who betrayed her. He's still alive, and when she demands to know why he shot her, he reveals that the Paradox within the TVA, Time Variance Authority, ordered him to do so. Paradox had promised to free him from this world if he succeeded in killing her. Furious, Cassandra opens another portal, determined to track down this Paradox character. Following Deadpool and Wolverine into their universe, Cassandra arrives and captures the Paradox. Using her psychic abilities, she probes his mind and learns that he's built a machine capable of obliterating any universe or timeline. A devious plan forms in Cassandra's mind. She'll use the machine to wipe out all universes, leaving only a void where she would reign supreme. Deadpool and Wolverine spring into action, but Cassandra tosses them aside with ease. Before leaving for the time-warping machine, she opens yet another portal, and who comes charging through? None other than Dogpool, who Deadpool lifts up with affection. Behind Dogpool is Nicepool, followed closely by Ladypool, and suddenly a whole army of Deadpool variants emerge from the portal, every one of them bloodthirsty and under Cassandra's control. Deadpool, in classic fashion, tries to reason with the other Deadpools, warning them of Cassandra's destructive plans. But they don't listen and attack instead. In a panic, Deadpool grabs Nicepool, using him as a human shield while he darts between cars, narrowly avoiding the onslaught. Poor Nicepool doesn't regenerate, and soon he's down for good. Wolverine, meanwhile, grabs Dogpool, knowing the other Deadpools love him. This buys them a moment of peace as the army of Deadpools hesitates to attack. With no other option, Wolverine and Deadpool prepare to fight off the army of Deadpools. Wolverine, wearing his iconic mask, looks more badass than ever, even impressing Deadpool. Together, they take down half of the army. But when Kidpool appears, the absurdity of the situation makes them burst out laughing. That's when Peter enters the scene. All the Deadpools love Peter, using that he rallies the others to stop fighting. With that settled, Deadpool and Wolverine run to Paradox, asking how they can stop Cassandra. Paradox explains that the machine has two wires, one for matter, the other for antimatter. If they can connect the two wires, it'll short-circuit the machine, destroying it along with Cassandra. But there's a catch. Whoever does it will be obliterated in the resulting explosion. Despite the dire consequences, Deadpool and Wolverine charge toward the machine. Wolverine, the Eternal Warrior, tells Deadpool to stay back, reminding him of his family and the happiness waiting for him. But just as Wolverine opens the door, Deadpool knocks him out and locks him outside. Determined to save his friend, Deadpool prepares to sacrifice himself. Inside, Cassandra is accelerating the machine's integration process. Deadpool grabs one of the wires and struggles to connect it to the other. Paradox watches in despair as the timeline's stability drops to a dangerous 2%. All hope seems lost until Wolverine smashes through the door, rushing to Deadpool's side. Together, they complete the circuit, causing a massive short circuit. The machine explodes, disintegrating Cassandra and seemingly killing Deadpool and Wolverine in the process. As they fade away, Deadpool's life flashes before his eyes. Meanwhile, Hunter B-15 from the TVA arrives with a squad of guards because someone turned on an unsanctioned Time Reaper. Just then, to everyone's surprise, Deadpool and Wolverine reappear, alive and well. Paradox, dumbfounded, asks how they survived. They explain that if either one of them had done it alone, they would have been obliterated. But because they did it together, they managed to split the impact of the explosion, allowing them to heal and regenerate. Hunter B-15, impressed by their heroic actions, thanks Deadpool and Wolverine for saving all the universes. She allows them to leave in peace. Returning to Deadpool's universe, Wolverine finally accepts Deadpool's offer to stay with him like family. As they arrive at Deadpool's chaotic home, Logan is introduced to Deadpool's bizarre family, and for the first time in a long time, they all seem genuinely happy. And that's a wrap. From explosive battles to mind-bending universes, Deadpool and Wolverine took us on a wild ride. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insane recaps, right here on Movies Unboxed.